So you're playing online, and this is your first time, I'm guessing, online or playing online. Was it cultural shock? Was it weird that you're like, you said you played with a lot of Americans, so was
Mm.
it strange that you logged online and you're like, oh, where you at? And then he's like, oh, I'm in Georgia, and you're like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, yeah, like, where the fuck is Georgia? Like, you know? Yeah, yeah, definitely culture shock, man. Like, it was more of a culture shock when you'd get the people that you couldn't understand in your chat, and they were yelling abuse at you in their language, and you're just going, "I don't understand you." Yeah,
So,
so much. And like the Americans, I'm going, cover B, and they're all going, "What's he say? What's he saying? What's he saying?" Like, I'm like, "Oh my god."
oh, that's great. That's great. So it was unique, different for you. It was kind of strange in one way or another for you.
hmm So, something was.
So you really got addicted to these shooters. You got Gears of War. You're playing Halo. Did you ever venture off into Call of Duty or into Battlefield? It seems like those are very popular titles, or you're never a big.
I've never really been a fan of the Battlefield. I did play Call of Duty. That was probably when I got with my wife. Well, she wasn't my wife at the time, but I did play a lot of Call of Duty. Where I work now, there's a lot of the lads they play Call of Duty, so they kind of got me playing it with them. They were like, "Oh, Halo sucks. Get off Halo and come play with us." And I was like, "Yeah, I like Halo. How about?" They were like, "Yeah, but you're all bonus on Halo, Jace. Like you 3v1 us and stuff and all. And you absolute destroy us." I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I like it." No, play Call of Duty. Well, so I was like, "Okay." I just used to go mad at it. People are grenade spamming. All they're doing is grenade. And my message would be like, Jace, one more time. If you swear at the top of your voice, you're coming off. I used to get really angry on Call of Duty. I played it, but it isn't my most fun game though.
So you were the typical teenager who was just sitting there. I did your mom.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
is
yeah.
you suck.
What? What, bitch? What? What do you say about my mum? You want to ask your mum for my change back and all that stuff? Oh yeah, definitely,
Uh,
definitely.
s- s- so you got an Xbox now. You were lucky enough. It might have been at the end of its time because you had the Xbox 360 coming up. You said, but money's tight. Understandable. Video games are expensive. I mean, $60 a pop for the video game, including the controllers and the console and the memory cards and all that jazz. It adds up. It gets really
Sure
expensive.
does.
So is that where you stayed on? Did you stay to the Xbox, or did you eventually? You said you got a 360. Your wife got you a 360 eventually.
hmm
Um, did you? Is this where you kind of ventured off into the computer then, or where was the next step of your gaming?
360, yeah, I was probably playing the PC at the time, probably, but I had a dinosaur of a computer, man. With big TFT monitors and stuff. Yeah, it was a dinosaur, so I wasn't really playing games on the computer. It was more there for my schoolwork until I went round one friend's house and he introduced me to World of Warcraft, and it's probably the worst thing he could have ever done.
Oh God, the gateway drug, pretty much for gaming.
Yeah, I just saw him. He was playing the druid at the time, and I saw he was transforming into a cat. He was going into an owl, and I was like, "What? What is all this stuff?" And I thought it's amazing, like. And bear in mind, I had a console with good graphics and stuff. World of Warcraft wasn't amazing graphics, but there was just something there that grabbed you. I don't know if it was because you were interacting with the social side of it. I don't know if it was the leveling up side, but something grabbed me on it. So yeah, even though I had my Xbox at this point, I, I did like, and I was spending a lot of time on the Gears of War and stuff. I did drift then to World of Warcraft, and I spent a hell of a lot. I mean, I think I started probably before college for me, um, and I played it all through college, and I only gave it up like last year. I must have played it for 8 years or so. It was something stupid anyway. I played it for.
Well,
Um, yeah, it's too addictive, man.
don't be ashamed. It plays a special part, and I'll ask you a bunch of questions of World of Warcraft. But as I said before, the people that played WoW in my past interviews, if you ever want to get your significant other to play video games, put them on World of Warcraft, and
Mm.
it's like a drug. It's like as addicting as caffeine or smoking or whatever the case may be. It can be as addicting as that because you would be like, I gotta raid, I gotta do dailies, I gotta do
Yeah.
this. Um, but no, I remember my first time logging in. I was Night Elf Hunter, and I logged in, and it was just beautiful. I think it was it was probably not even the best graphics you could get, but when you logged in and you could just move around 360 and just see the trees and everything, and I was
Yeah.
just like, this place is
I think
fucking
it's
amazing.
everything every gamer fantasized because every gamer wants to be in that world, and then all of a sudden they got thrown into this thing where you could be in a world and you could act as a character, role play a bit and stuff. And I think it was just that's what grabbed it. And like for me, I had a crappy monitor. Literally, I don't know what size it was. It was shit basically. I remember we had one of the top raid guilds on my server. I was trying to get into, and I applied to this guild, and it's daft. You had to apply to get into
Yeah.
a gaming community, you know. And I was like, it felt like I was applying for a job. And then I had to put my full life in there, how good I was and stuff. And he came back and he said, "You've got all the credentials to get into a raid guild, but your UI is crap. Until you change your UI, we can't accept you." I was like, "What's wrong with my UI?" So then I downloaded Grid and I changed it all and I made it look. But because my monitor was so small, everything was just crushed in into the screen and you couldn't actually see any of the screen anymore. And he was like, "You're not gonna be able to raid with that UI, dude, because you can't see what you're doing." I was like, "What do I do?" So,
Oh, I can just, like I said, I can talk about World of Warcraft forever, but for people that played WoW, they probably know what Grid is. It just, you can customize your UI. It's like an add-on, and you just can move things around and make things nice and sleek, and make the buttons really big or really small, and all this jazz. But so you rated. What did you play in World of Warcraft? What was your main?
I had a DK. I did 10-man raids and I did 25-man raids, but 25-man raid again because my computer was crap. Every time I went in there, the screen was freezing and stuff. So I couldn't tank 25 because on my DK I tanked.
Mhm.
I did, like I say, heroic tanking on 10-man. But because when I went in these 25 ones, I couldn't possibly be one of the tanks, and they're shouting at me, "Do this, do that, move here," and my screen's freezing every second. So I played for 25 man. I played a priest healer because we had 6 healers, and I was like, at least if it freezes for a second or something, someone can carry me along the way. I can look good as a healer, whereas as a tank 25 man, I probably get kicked out of the raid group straight away. So yeah, I had two mains, and we did 10 and 25 man once a week. So I spent basically all week long raiding and no time doing anything else. It,
So
it was
Oop, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's fine. I was just about to say it was a very busy schedule playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah, rating, especially when you get in those top guilds, that you spend what 3 or 4 days, especially if it's new content and you're just grinding it out, and you can one boss you could just keep dying and dying, and it
Yeah.
gets expensive. WoW guild expensive, not real money. But um, so what class did you play, or
No, that's what I played. The Priest and Death Knight.
but
I
like were
played.
you a Draenei or were you a Night
Oh,
Elf or
oh, what race I played?
race?
Sorry.
Yes.
No, I played. I was on the Horde side. I played Blood Elf, Death Knight, and I think Priest wise, I think I was Blood Elf again. I kind of fall in love with the Blood Elves, but I did transfer to Ally halfway through while I was tanking. Because I got offered a position on an ally server as main tank. So I did transfer, and I was Draenei. Um Death Knight. I went to Draenei Death Knight. I left my priest on the Horde, but I went Draenei Death Knight and made him all because you could make him bold. So I made him bold. I made him big blue skinned, dark blue skinned, so he looked right baller. And when I was tanking, he just looked baller.
So you're tanking and you're more of a PvE. Did you ever venture off to PvP, or was it just strictly PvE raiding and dungeons and?
It was probably towards the end of Wrath of Lich King. I ventured off to PvP, and that's when I decided to level the mage because I was like, "Wow, mages are really strong." I had a game on one of my friends' mage, and I'd never got the achievement in the battleground on Warsong Gulch for Iron Man, I think it's called, for carrying the flag 3 times and not dying and whatnot. I'd never got that. I played as Frost Mage, never played a mage before, and got it in the first BG I ever did. So I was like, these are strong. I'm going to level one. So I leveled the mage. That was my what turned into my main and turned into the Canear. But for some reason, I said, like I said I was going to play Arcane and never touched it.
So at this point, were you just strictly PvP, or did you actually use your mage to raid also, or?
No, I did just do strictly PvP. It wasn't until very towards the end of the expansion of Wrath of the Lich King that my guild said, like, if you want to bring any ults, you can bring your ults. And I was like, oh, I got my mage, let me raid with that. So I just did a bit of casual raiding. It was nothing. And by this point, we were downing bosses like, very easily and stuff. I could be carried. But I never intended to do raiding on my mage until the next expansion when I was like, I can't be asked to level all my characters again, so I'm just going to play the mage. And that's what happened. I just played mage then from there on.
It's pretty interesting. You went from like tanking to healing, and then you're now a DPS, and then you focus on DPS. And I don't know, I'm sure you've heard this term. DPS is a dime a dozen, so it was difficult sometimes to get into raids and whatnot when everybody is DPS and you couldn't find a tank or a healer.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I was favoured to be fair for a lot of the guilds as DPS because I did Megaton DPS when Dragon Soul came out. I played Fire at that point, I think, and I was hitting stupid numbers, but it was still hard to get a raid if you didn't have a guild because obviously tanks were stupid to come by. They were always in guilds, so unless you had a decent guild, yeah, raids were daft for people unless you were a tank and a healer.
So you playing World of Warcraft, you spend a lot of time. I would say, you got really addicted in the long run. From this point, even though you seem like you kind of regret getting into World of Warcraft, when did you venture off to Twitch? Is this when you found Twitch, or is this when you found League of Legends, or is there a game in between there that was like your stepping stone?
I didn't know about Twitch until probably last year, or just before the year before maybe. I didn't really know about Twitch. It was one of my friends who told me to go onto Twitch. But League of Legends, I knew about it while I was playing WoW, I think, because a friend at work they kept going on about this League of Legends and how it's laning, but the image I had in my head wasn't the image of how League of Legends is. Because he described it very basic. He said it's lanes, you choose your champs, and you have to win your lane. So I kind of had a 2D image of a screen with 3 lanes going up. And one way could go doot, 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 across with your champ, and I didn't see it as the game it actually is. So I never played it. And then another friend of mine kept going on and on about this League of Legends. I was like, dude, it's shit. I'm not going to play League of Legends, for God's sake. Stop. And he was like, just have a game with me. Just download it, have a game. Rob's on there, I'm on there. And he was like, right, okay. So I downloaded it. And I was like, oh, this champ looks cool. Fresh. So I didn't understand support and, tanky champs and whatnot. I was just like, I'm going to kill everyone with this champ. He looks mint. So I pulled out the fresh. I was like, yeah, let's go. Couldn't hook anything. I didn't know how to use Lantern. I was just absolute crap on it. Didn't enjoy it one bit. Then I was like, why can't I kill anyone? I was going ham. Come on, let's go at the front line, running forward. Come on, let's go. Like, I'd lant my friend in, try and hook someone, not miss, and then start trying to just hit him and die. I was like, this game's shit. Never. And then I didn't play it for probably at least another year or so. It wasn't until last year I started playing League of Legends properly. So I went away from League of Legends basically. I was still playing a while, and then every time a game would come out on the Xbox, the next Halo or another game that I've been waiting for, I'd go right off WoW for a bit. I've done my raiding. I haven't got a busy time. I can play the Xbox. So I kind of float between computer and console.
That's good. You still got that console passion. A lot of people, once they go to computers, they're like, consoles are lame. I kind of feel that way. It's like I haven't touched my console in a while, like gaming wise. I use it for Netflix, and that's about it. But so you didn't touch it for a while. What got you back into it? Yeah, I mean, you hated it. You tried it out, and you're like, this is garbage. Why am I playing this game? Why go back to it?
Why did I go back to League of Legends?
Yeah.
I suppose WoW got to a point where it was just too easy.
Mm.
They've made everything just boring on WoW. That was probably coming to the end of my. Like I say, I didn't start playing LoL till last year, and was that when Catalysm ended or so, or Draenor was coming out, whatever. But it was when WoW basically was just not interesting to me anymore. No matter how much I tried to be interested in WoW, I just played it for that long and realised I'm doing the same thing week in, week out, playing this, and it's got to a point where you weren't even socialising anymore. You were just in your little building on your own. So I was like, what can I play? And I'd log on Skype, and every time I log on Skype, my mates were all sitting there playing LOL. And I'm like, what you up to, boys? And they're all like, grab him, do that, do that. I'm like, so you're not going to talk then? No. And they're like, we're playing LOL, Jace, for God's sake. Like, and then I was like, can't you play nothing else? No. And they were like, well, maybe if you played LOL with us, you'd like it. I said, I've tried it before, I was crap on it. And so I started playing. I've downloaded it. I was like, right, I'll give it a go. And I don't know. I don't know what. I think I played Rise this time. I came on. I was like, I'm not going to play that fresh. He was wank. Now I'm going to play this guy because he was a mage. Obviously, Rise was a mage, and I'd got that hooked on mages in WoW. I was like, I'm going to have to play someone who's a mage. So I played Rise, and I absolutely stomped one game. I was like, wow, this guy's fun. So that was it then. I wouldn't play anything else bar Rise for quite a few games. And yeah, then I found out about the ranking system on it, and like I say, ranks. Anything with the word ranking in a game to me gets me hooked. So it's like, there's ranked in this game. I can become better than anyone else in the world. I'm gonna play it. So I got hooked, and then obviously last year, I'd only started halfway through the season. By the time I'd finally got to level 30 and got enough runes, it was like halfway through the season. I was like, right now what? I'll do it. I jumped into ranked, got graded as bronze. I was like, yeah, I'm shit.
Oh, man.
So obviously this term, this season, whatever you want to say, I said I'm going to go at it this season and I'm going to perform better than I did last season. So as long as I hit silver this season, that's an improvement, and I'll work my way up that way. So yeah, now I've been hooked on LoL, and I did buy an Xbox One. As soon as it came out, I did buy it because obviously I knew there'll be a Halo that comes out. It hasn't yet, but it will do. I knew there'll be another, so I was like, I need to have the Xbox One for when Halo comes out. But I haven't really touched it at the moment. I do a bit of streaming now and then on Halo on the console. It's not that often. I literally now my time's gone from all my time spending on WoW to all my time spending on LoL. So.
That's good. That's good. Not before we get into League of Legends, I should have asked this earlier when you were talking about Halo. Did you ever try Destiny, or did Destiny ever interest you?
Yep, I got Destiny. I played it to max level, and then I put it down. Not much good I could say about it, other than obviously I got everyone going, it's Halo, but it's not Halo. And I was like, it's nothing like Halo. Yeah, you can jump high on it. Yeah, it's got futuristic guns, but it's not Halo. The multiplayer didn't feel the same. The storyline wasn't as compelling as Halo. The fact it was more open world, whereas Halo is more linear. No, it was nothing like Halo. And for someone who's played Halo for so long, I got quite defensive. And then obviously when you get to max level on Destiny, it becomes more like WoW. Grind. Oh, like now I can finally get into a raid. Now I've grinded for the past 2 months to get my actual gear that I need. But no, it just, and then the fact that you have to pay for every single expansion on Destiny as well. Yeah, it's just not the game that I like. And to be fair, my mate who raved about Destiny being so good, he did the same. He got to max level and he was like, right, now what? And put the game down. And I haven't touched it ever since.
Yeah, I've heard split things. People are like addicted to it, or they either don't like it and hate it. So, it's fair enough. So it's nothing like Halo. I've never played it. I've heard about it. I've seen it, but I've never really personally played it. So,
interestingly, like people say, it's nothing like Halo. Obviously, it is created by Bungie, so it's gonna have some factor in it of Halo. Well, there's a funny thing about it. Well, Master Chief, his body, where Master Chief's pants are, if you Google this or whatnot, his pants are in like a certain shape. Well, the Destiny symbol is that shape, basically. It's hit. So it's kind of like because Bungie obviously left Microsoft on bad terms, so we were all saying like it must be their way of saying, "Ha, look at this game we brought out, Microsoft, and we're gonna incorporate certain things from Halo that you can't stop us from incorporating and rub it in your face," i.e., the symbol for Destiny being the pants off Master Chief.